I don't know of anyone who's working from flat to dimensional in quite this manner. Certainly painters are discussing making paintings more real, finding a way to sidestep linear perspective or the traditional methods of creating space on a flat surface, the illusion of space on a flat surface. But this is an illusion that transgresses what's been done in the past. And I don't say transgress in a negative way. I mean that in a positive way, because to question or to look for new ways of expressing space or of creating space or picturing space is part of the artistic process. Certainly the 20th century arts and artists, all the way through the 20th century, those who were truly exploring the world about them, inquisitive and almost philosophical sense, have been involved in not using the traditional tools of the artist, tools that have really been around since the Renaissance, or ways of expression that found other tools, discovered other tools. It's the growth, and yet not dissimilar from the growth of art in any other period. And I think the similarity is the employment of technology and the influence of technology and the kinds of tools that are available to the artist. dNASAb is looking for new tools and new ways of speaking, just as Andy Warhol and Nam June Paik and Jackson Pollock and Matisse and Brancusi did all the way through the 20th century. And I think the great similarity between what dNASAb is doing right now and what was done at the turn of the 20th century, the movement from the 19th into the 20th. And here we are moving from the 20th into the 21st. People often ask the question about, what happens when the iPod dies or what happens when the circuit board fails. And of course, these are issues being dealt with worldwide in the arts community at this point. The longevity of this work and questions about the longevity of this work. And people are dealing with, institutions are dealing with that on a very real basis right now with the work of artists such as Nam June Paik. In the Renaissance, the technology was fresco painting and oil on canvas. Prior to that, it was tempera painting on wood panels. But those are technologies. And to preserve the work, conservators have involved themselves with understanding those technologies and coming up with means and procedures of maintaining that work, repairing it, keeping it in good repair. When oil paintings crack, technologies of stabilizing and preventing further fracture. And the same thing is going to happen here with this work. A whole new set of conservators are going to rise through the demand to keep this work archivally sustainable through the decades, and they will be manufacturing, hand fashioning replacement parts, studying, figuring out how to keep the iPods running. This will happen. There's no doubt in my mind that that conservation will just step to another level. Certainly, the university gallery is in a very special position. It's not driven by economics. It's not driven by sales. We're not here to show art as a commodity. We're here to show art as an idea. And I think that that's a very important role, and an important role that the university gallery accepts to then feed the commodity, the market of commodity. Art is a commodity. You know, it's a role that I take very seriously. Give artists a chance to actually grow through an exhibition, not see an exhibition as a finality, but to see it as an opportunity to explore new ideas and to think about their work in a different way and actually get feedback from a community, students and academics who are also interested in ideas and understand the importance of this communication, a dialogue between the art and the artist and themselves and their own academic disciplines to further enhance their own thinking and to further develop their own ideas. And I think right now I see the University Gallery as growing in importance. And in between structure, or in between level, between the art studio and museums, more established gallery situations, and it's an important level to actually help the art world, to keep the art world involved in the importance of the idea, the importance of the dialogue and of thinking, and not to see a work of art as an end in itself. This role, I think, is encouraging the commercial gallery to take a second look at himself. I get this sense, and I hope that this keeps going. It almost seemed to me with this exhibition that people were hungry for it. There was a hunger here for this type of art, for this type of representation, because it has a reality of its own. It's not a replication of reality. It's not an illusion of reality, as you would find with paintings, say realistic painting, figurative sculpture. There was something much different here, and there was a hunger for it. It's often told, this is such a breath of fresh air, you don't know how important this is, something new, something different, never what you expect. The comments and the anecdotes that I now have to speak of are really, truly astronomical. And people would go out in the community, leave this gallery, go into the community, go out and look at and talk to other people and say, you have to see this show. One of the artists, the day after we opened, one of the artists involved in the gallery along with dNASAb overheard a cell phone conversation, a young man in the lobby talking on his cell phone, saying, no, you don't understand. You have to see this gallery now. You have to come to the gallery now. It was amazing. The acceptance, the total acceptance. I mean, nary a negative word, no negativity whatsoever. And the gallery was always filled with this positive energy. People who were just filled with joy to be here, awed at what they saw. If I were to describe the show to someone who hadn't been able to see it, who hadn't been able to see this work, or to try to even coin a term to describe this work as part of a movement, I think is difficult. But I think a point I made earlier, that this work is creating its own reality. It is a reality, and that people are drawn to it immediately. And you have to see it. And that's been the demand here. You have to see the show. When we hear other people talking about it on the street or in the community, they don't describe it. They just say, you have to see it, you have to experience it. And I think the importance of this experience, or the necessity of experience, is partially what we're seeing happening in society around the privacy of these handheld iPods. This individual experience creating a need for a different type of collective experience. The communication and the involvement and the engagement that dNASAb's work brings to other people, brings to people who walk in to look at it, it's one of its most important strengths.